If you have a dream to speak on stage in front of hundreds or even thousands of people to motivate and inspire and to help people feel more positive and excited about life, to tap into their greatest potential, and you've got that huge vision and dream for where you want to go, but you haven't even stepped on stage in front of like 5 people yet, then my advice to you as someone who has spoken with groups around the country and been hired by corporations to speak is that you need to start small. You need to start with even the smallest group you can find. Because think about it at the extreme level. If I put you on stage in front of 10,000 people today in a stadium and you've never spoken to a group before and that's your very first time and you failed and you didn't do things in the best possible way, how would you feel? Where would your confidence go? I'm guessing your confidence would tank and you'd probably become terrified of ever speaking in front of a group again. Now, I'm not suggesting that's the only way to view it, but very often when the stakes are bigger and we feel that we've not met a standard that we were hoping to meet, it can devastate us and we can feel like, how can I come back from that? But if I were to put you in front of a group of like 4 or 5 people and you're sitting down at a coffee shop and just having a conversation and sharing some ideas and thoughts with them for like 15 or 20 minutes, and you finished it and you thought, that didn't exactly go the way I wanted, how'd you feel? You'd probably be more likely to say, that wasn't great. It wasn't my best stuff. I could have done way better, but I'm excited to do the next opportunity to speak to a new group again next week or tomorrow or next month. I really believe that if you're trying to get yourself out there as a speaker and there's something inside you that says, I've got a message to share. I want to bring my energy, my positivity, and my inspiration and my motivation to more people to help them feel better and to live extraordinary lives. Start small. And the best advice I can give you as someone who started small and spoke with, I remember my first groups that I spoke with were just little networking groups in the town that I lived in, and there were groups of like 5 and 6 people, and I just went and I sat and they were having coffee in the mornings and they would meet on a weekly basis, and I just came in and basically facilitated a conversation. I had some talking points and shared some things, but it really turned into a casual conversation. And so even though it was seen as a speaking event, or my friend that brought me in to speak at these groups really saw me as being a speaker, and this person knew that I wanted to be speaking, it really it was a speech, but it was also a conversation. And so I just want to encourage you that if you truly do have a desire, a passion, a sense of destiny that you're supposed to be talking with groups of hundreds and even thousands of people on stages and at conferences and events around the world, start small, start local. Just find a friend that you know has a networking group, and maybe it's only like 5 people that get together for coffee once in a week and they talk about goals and they stay accountable to one another. Just say, hey, I know you've got a group that wants to really be their best. They're working to become the best version of themselves, and I really want to be a motivational speaker or an inspiring speaker. And, I'd love to just come and speak to your group and share some tips for how to become the best version of yourself. And just find more people like that. Or start to find people at coffee shops that you see getting together on a regular basis and introduce yourself and learn about what they're doing. And just start telling people that you're speaking to groups, that you're available to be brought in to speak. And don't worry about getting paid yet. If you've never been a speaker, if you've never been even once in front of a group asked to speak, don't worry about being paid. Don't even think about the dollars. You need to right now just think about the experience. Experience is the greatest compensation you can receive right now if you are just getting your speaking experience started. Because the thing you need to refine and develop is the craft of communication. You got to really get a feel for what's your voice. How do you present what you're going to present? How do you communicate it? What's your tonality? What's your energy like at different places in your presentation, at different places in your messaging? Are you going to be louder and more excited, or more sincere and thoughtful and slowing down your voice and your pace and your pitch? So there are all kinds of things to consider that you're really not going to get a feel for until you just do it. And so if in your mind you can envision yourself speaking with hundreds and even thousands of people at events around the country, remember to start small, start local, and just start where you can. And if you're in your 40s and 50s or maybe even 60s and you now have this desire or passion to go and speak and you're like, well, I've had a great successful career, or I'm in the midst of a successful career and people see me as really successful. Like, how can I don't think I should start by talking to groups of 5 people. Like, I should be invited to speak in front of thousands of people. Well, let me tell you, friend, if you've never, ever spoken to a group, then you should start with 5. Don't be afraid to start small, because starting small is truly the only place to start to eventually make a big difference. And what you have to remember is this is not just practice for you. It is practice, and it's an opportunity to positively influence the life of somebody. If you're talking to 5 people, there's someone there that needs your message. Maybe all 5 people, but there's at least one person there that needs your message, that needs to hear from you. And by the way, you don't have to share some groundbreaking insights and perspectives. One of my favorite quotes comes from Samuel Johnson, an author from the 1700s, who said, "People need to be reminded more often than they need to be instructed." And I want to remind you that you don't have to have amazing ideas that nobody has ever heard of before, because frankly, most ideas that you will talk about over your career of speaking and over your lifetime are ideas that millions of people have shared and are sharing today. And the people that you're speaking to have probably heard the message before, but they haven't heard it from you. They haven't heard your voice, from your experience, from your worldview, with your same energy and excitement and story. And so if you want to do big things in this world, you got to be willing to start small, regardless of where you are on your journey. The best advice I can give you if you want to get started on your journey of sharing a message that inspires and motivates others is to start small. Find those small groups around you in your community. Even if it's just a Zoom call where you're presenting for 15 or 20 minutes, it's something. And it'll help you to start working on your craft of communicating effectively, persuasively, and powerfully, so that you can motivate and inspire the people that you are destined to reach with your voice, with your message, and with your stories that you can share. So my friend, whatever you're going after, I hope and pray and ask and invite you to just keep going. You can make it happen.